Will your AI agent start recording? All right. Good morning. Good afternoon. January 27th, 2026. Where did the month go? We're almost in February. I feel like there's some alignment going on coming out of the winter. Some of you might be in the snow or freeze. I'd love to know about that, but I don't know. I'm ready. The January New Year is wearing off. So I'm joined as always with my co-host Tom Cotter. How you feeling, Tom?
I'm feeling good. We warmed up to 28 degrees today. So it was -3 last night. So we got another, I mean, it's nowhere near you know, Vegas weather here, but we're not driving around in ice, just snow here.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe these weather events will drive more battery backup blackout protection urgency. So we'll see. Let's jump in. Like, comment this video if you're watching the recording, share it with your fellow solar entrepreneurs. Let's kick it off with some success stories as always. I'm going to call on my manager, Ashley, who also is a teacher, and we closed a pretty awesome deal together. Ashley, tell us about who it is and how you got that deal.
So my cousin who lives in Castaic, she had reached out prior about solar, and she just hit me up one day. I probably haven't spoken to her in probably over a year here and there. And she said, "Hey, you still doing solar?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I can connect you with someone." And so I connected her with John, and we, after like a day or two, we ended up closing, what was it, 49 panels or something like that. Three batteries. It's a pretty large system, so it's pretty good deal.
Yeah. Well, you picked a good closer mentor, so nice work on that, Ashley. Yeah, giant system. We were pitching the PPA versus the HDM that we're going to talk about prepaid today, and as much as we were pushing the monthly PPA, she really wanted the HDM ownership option. So, and she's going to be paying Edison 8 grand a year. So, man, if you're in Cali, the value prop is unreal. But nice work on that deal, Ashley. All right. Who else has a win success story? Share, David.
Yeah, I can go. Yeah, last night on Power Hour, Tom and I focused on the Florida market and went through about 45 minutes of a slide deck that was focused directly on, the Florida market, the value proposition, and how things are looking in the current state now. And, there's been a lot of talk outside of certain areas that, now that we don't have the 30% tax credit, it's going to slow down or die off or whatever. But as we looked at one example that I just had closed or just had installed at the end of the year, looked at that loan straight up compared to two leases that I have proposals built for this year. Um, they're all relatively the same size, between 28,000 and 40,000 kilowatt hours a year. So they're all similar in size. They're all large. But, the loan was like a 6,500 commission, if I remember right. And both the leases this year are saving $200 a month or even a little bit more. And the commissions are 10,000 is the low one, and 14,000 was the larger one. So we were very excited to be able to share that with the group last night. And I know that there's more focus going to be on other areas and so on. So those power hours are going to be great. I would suggest if you missed Florida last night, tune into these others. There's some great knowledge that Tom's putting together on these, very specific to those areas. But it was great last night just to share that and see their responses was great. So
Very cool. Nice work, gentlemen, on the Power Hour, and they're focused on different markets. So if you're building a team and recruiting like you should, then definitely take advantage of those Power Hour meetings. Troy signed a new ambassador in Florida at his RV dealership. Awesome. What else we got? Another juicy win out there, success story. Anybody would like to share? Raise their hand. Don't be shy. I know there's a lot of you on. Jeff Martin, go for it.
What's up, guys? Two things. Got an install going in California as we speak, so that's always good news. No more PG&E. And two, I just got confirmation Monty is still out today, so no open office hour.
Thank you for that update. Appreciate it. Let's post those install pictures. I can't wait to see it. So nice work on that. And then Cynthia, did you have a share?
Yeah, sure. I was just going to mention I've really kicked up networking just to meet my goal of increasing my self-generated referrals. And I did 3 networking events last week and I got a big lead at each one. So it's just so interesting to think about, wow, like if we average out 10 grand per networking event, right? Or even 5 grand, like those 3 events paid, 15 to 30 grand.
Yeah, big money. Was there anything you did that was more intentional or thoughtful as you went to those networking events, whether it was cards or texting follow up or asking for something on the spot?
Yes. So a few things. I made it a goal to talk and connect with as many people as possible when I was at the event, collected business cards, and then the next day I text every single contact and said, "Hey, it was nice to meet you," mentioned something about our conversation and put them on my Excel sheet. Um, and yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Love it. I would do the same, and then I would also add them on all my social medias as well for the cherry on top. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did do that also. Those that had Instagram.
Nice work. That's the professional way to do it. So cool. Well, let's keep it going here. I'm going to kick it to Tom for the power perspective.
Thank you, Jonathan. So as of today, we are 27 days into a new year. And just a quick perspective as we watch this video together, most people don't lose momentum, whether you're talking about in your career or a new year. They don't lose it, because of one bad meeting, one bad phone conversation, or, one awkward conversation. They they lose it because they punish themselves after it happens. So you have a miss and it hurts. And then comes the extra damage where you replay it, where there's that self talk and probably hesitation before the next conversation. You've got that urge to wait until you feel ready again, to take that up again. So I just got a question for you. When you get hit with a tough minute, something unexpected happens. Do you deal with that problem once, or do you keep paying interest on that all day long? So keep that question in mind as you watch this video. Go ahead and play it, Jonathan.
Just before my podcast I did with Stephen Bartlett on Diary of a CEO, one of the world's biggest podcasts, just before my plane was about to leave, one of my family members messaged me to let me know that they've just been diagnosed with cancer. This was one of the worst pieces of news that I've received all year. And then I got that text, I sent one text back, the plane took off, and there was no Wi-Fi on the plane. So the whole time I could not reach out to my family member. So I landed, got on the phone, started speaking to my family member, crying on the phone. And then within hours after that, I had to get on the podcast with no sleep. I couldn't enjoy it because my mind was frazzled. I spoke too quickly. I spoke in circles. I rushed my answers and I was beating myself up. And it reminds me of this concept in Buddhism that my dad shared with me about how pain comes in the form of 2 arrows. The first arrow is an event that happens in your life that you can't avoid. I did a bad job. I didn't do that great of a job. The second arrow was me then beating myself up. So this year, I want to get good at only being struck by the first arrow and minimizing the number of times I strike myself with the second arrow. I want to be kinder to myself. I want to give myself more grace. And I want to remind myself and not just others that I am also human. And guess what? You are too. So give yourself some grace this year. Don't be too hard on yourself.
I love that. So I wanted to share that with you all. Our edge this week is not perfection. It's really recovery speed. It's taking the lesson once and then taking the next step. So, Jonathan, what events do we have coming up here?
Great share. Yeah, like Jeff said, Monty is out sick. So the office hour today is postponed. But those are great office hours Tuesday, Thursday, um, that you can attend for pre-sales, post-sale help. Tomorrow night, Jonathan Charles Wilson and I will be on Zoom at 5 o'clock, dropping a few scripts and role plays, and then we're gonna hit the phones for 30 minutes together on a Zoom call to hit up our unsold leads and our ambassadors. So join us tomorrow night for the call blitz. And of course, we're leveraging the promotion that we have going on right now. Office hours should be back on Thursday. Monday forum as always. And then what is this, Tom? Texas Power Hour Monday night business presentation. That'll be
Last
nice.
night was Florida, and this coming week on Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central, Melissa Dawson and Luis and some others are doing a Texas-focused event talking about VPPs and how people in Texas can get net metering, and a lot of good stuff, a lot of big momentum happening in Texas right now. You've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks that Texas has been outperforming California on sales. So got a lot of good things happening in Texas.
That should be good. And then next Tuesday, y'all, John, you want to say something about Alec real quickly if you're able to come off of mute? Because we have a special Tuesday training February 3rd on Core 4 leadership.
Hey, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, I'm excited to have Alec on. He was the founder of V3 Electric, a large regional installer here in California. And he wrote this book, Core 4 Leadership. It's basically a self-evaluation tool to see what are the 4 areas of your leadership that you can, self-improve on. So check it out, audible.com, or you can get the book on Amazon, Core 4 Leadership. It's a pretty quick read. So honestly, you could probably listen to or read the whole thing before that training. But he's going to come on, do a awesome leadership training. So I would say anybody that is in solar or in your team, obviously have them there, but anybody even beyond that, I'm going to be inviting people in my network, entrepreneurs, business leaders, anybody who wants to increase their leadership in 2026. So I would encourage you to do the same. It's on the Power calendar. You can share that link with anyone, and let's pack out that meeting and let's level up our leadership in 2026.
Sweet. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. And appreciate your leadership all around, always helping people, coming up with that training and helping out with the call blitz night. So really appreciate that. Okay. And then I do want to just cruise through this newsletter real quickly. It was pretty short and sweet. Jonathan Budd is in Hawaii. And when he landed, he got a little flu sick. So he is taking 10 days off to recover, reset, renew, and up level, which is exciting. So this newsletter is nice, short, and sweet. Obviously, we have a giant promotion going on for just 2 more weeks. So take advantage of that. Power Outlet. I'm going to show this off real quickly.
You got that pretty quick in the mail.
I ordered this Tuesday on the call, and it came Friday from our Power Outlet. And, I'm pretty excited about it. But literally, you can come over to the, do I have it open? The Power Outlet. There's even clearance sections like sweaters and the Power Up t-shirt that I'm wearing that's $15. And then in the newsletter, there's a 10% discount. So come on, y'all. Let's order some swag and rock it all over the place to get more leads and get more sales. All my pickleball friends are like, when are you going to give us swag and t-shirts and water bottles? I'm like, all right, shit, let's do it. New updates coming on Vision in the coming weeks. SolarEdge is going to a single SKU pricing model, which should be good for all of us. And next week, we have a special Enphase training February 3rd at 10 Pacific. If you want to learn more about Enphase's partnership with Powur. And yeah, like Tom said, last night was Florida. Next week is Texas for Power Hour recruiting. All right, so I hired a new assistant. She always shows up on time. She doesn't complain, and she always does what I ask. So here is the social media shareable of the day.
Get 20 to 30% off solar with an instant discount. Hut your bills by 30 to 50%. Ask about our promo check.
She's a pretty cool assistant, right? So joking, not joking. There's two images here that are applicable to today's training. You can get 20 to 30% instant discount even after the tax credit has ended. Cut your bills and ask about our $500 to $1,000 promotion check. It literally took me like 2 minutes to do this with ChatGPT and Grok AI today. So feel free to share these images online. I'll put them in the chat, and they're also in the Google Drive that I'll share in the chat. But that is applicable to today's training to get people off the fence. And of course, you can use the $1,000, $500 sign by end of Valentine's Day, February 15th promotions that we have going on right now. All right, so let's get into today's training. In a few minutes, I'll also just kind of introduce Tanner here, but he's hanging in the background. So if you have questions on HDM, he's one of our account managers for a prepaid upfront product. But I've got a few slides to talk through first. So the main discussion today is on prepaid upfront PPA products. There's a pilot group of Powur sellers that are testing it out. It's a little bit manual with different portals and logins and calculators. And you can always attend the office hour Tuesday, Thursdays to ask Monty and the sales team for help. Or if you have a project you need help on, you can go there and get your deal and your proposal worked out. If you are a top performer and you have a good amount of sales and leads and you need this, reach out to Tom or I, and we can see if we can get you into the pilot. It will be expanding in the coming weeks, and it's always changing and evolving. So appreciate the patience as we figure out the best product. But today we're going to talk about why prepaid upfront, history and background of it, why it's working today, what are the options in the future, and then we're going to do a little deep dive on HDM Capital, which is Powur's prepaid upfront partner today, and the homeowner value prop and scripts that we can talk through when it comes to a prepaid upfront PPA product. So a little bit of the history, solar lenders and options have always evolved based on tax policies, net metering, interest rates, and more. If you've been doing this 10, 15, 20 years, you know this. Traditional options, cash and loans were very popular when money was free, when interest rates were low. And there was a investment tax credit on the consumer side that homeowners could take advantage of. So now TPO, third party owned, power purchase agreements and leases are pretty much the name of the game. And a lot of people don't even have access to the lenders that we have. So it's kind of a return to a proven model. Some of you on here, I know John and Cynthia and others, we had a prepaid PPA product at Solar City Tesla 12 years ago. We had a prepaid upfront product, Tom and Rick and others at Sunrun 7, 8, 9 years ago. So this is not something new. It's just returning to a model that is really advantageous in today's climate. It's a way to capture the federal credits on the commercial side and bring them back to our homeowners that we're going to get into in just a second.
I just mentioned I did a prepaid PPA wrapped with a loan on a house we had in California. So when I had lots of different options, prepaid is the direction that I went personally.
When was that? 10 years ago?
That was 2013.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, so it's been around for a while. It's been around for 10, 15 years or more. Sunrun was one of the pioneers of this product. Solar City Tesla had it as well. They had one or two versions of it. Even Sonova had a prepaid upfront PPA product. It was originally used by a lot of high net worth. Usually it was cash, was how it worked. And it kind of lowered away when there was cheap debt, cheap interest rates, money was free, and then there was a strong tax credit and other lender options. But today, obviously, those things are not in existence right now. So now it's back. Now that the ITC has gone away, and people still want an ownership option, a way to improve their home value. That's a big one, improving the home value. And it's better than paying full retail cash price. So, with prepaid, why it's winning this year, you can do a full prepaid upfront. You could pay it off if they have cash, or we have loan options in order to finance this as well. There's no concerns around getting a tax credit. I don't know if you guys know, but people didn't always get that tax credit at all. Or sometimes it took 2 to 3 years to get it, or sometimes they didn't have the tax appetite. That is gone. Like, that's exciting. And it's instant discount when it comes to this product. There's a lot more flexibility, especially with HDM. Second systems are allowed in California, for example. Non-owner occupied properties or business properties that are owned under LLC, a residential that is owned under an LLC. If Tanner's looking the other way right now, sometimes we could put some roof work in there. Obviously, we could put batteries in there, adders in there, and different options. It'll give blackout protection, obviously with batteries, and reduce people's bills from day one. And it works without the tax credit on the consumer side. It's also a differentiator. If you've gone on the Facebook Solar Pro groups right now, there's solar pros out there saying, I'm coming across quotes that have 20 to 30% discount. Like, what is up with this HDM thing? So don't forget, y'all, to use this as a recruiting tool when you're speaking to sales pros or installers. They don't even have access to the Good Leap options or this HDM prepaid upfront option that we have access to. It's still a very new, foreign thing for a lot of people out there. So some of the prepaid options today, HDM Capital is who Powur has partnered with to offer. If you've been at Powur for a while, you know that we always like to have more than one option. So transparently, there's other people out there. Concert is a newer one to the block that has to have a lender tied to it, and they partner with CED Green Tech. Thrive is another one out there that had, I believe, some complications in Texas. I think they have a product in California. And then GoodLeap or SunGage might be coming out with some version for this product, but that could be, end of the year. I'm not sure on that. And if in a minute I'll let Tanner describe how HDM has been doing this the longest and the most proven with some of the best capital raised. And each one has different markets and different discount structures, or what they allow or don't allow, and then what loan has to be on with their product. So here's a few things what to say as you're talking to clients. And just so you know, I believe HDM is currently in California and Nevada. I believe Powur will be opening up Texas soon. And then Colorado is imminently coming in the next week. And then hopefully Illinois is coming as well. But I'll let Tanner explain more on that. So it's a small area at this time. But HDM is a way to get 20 to 25% instant discount off of the cash price. It's using commercial federal credits that are given back to you, Mr. Homeowner. For 6 years, HDM captures these credits and depreciation, passing on the benefits and the discount back to you. They're like the holding company that holds the paper for 6 years, and assign it back to you. You can get your own loan if maybe you have cash in the bank, or you get your own loan, 401k, HELOC, credit union, personal bank, or we have loan options. So today we're using Credit Human as the loan option for HDM, and there's 10, 15, 20 years, and there's really no dealer fee, no prepayment penalty for an 8.49 interest rate. And you could always buy at full retail cash price if you don't want this, 6-year creative discount, Mr. Homeowner. But why not take a massive discount on this with a few added benefits as well? So a few things on HDM. Like I said, they're in California, Nevada, and Texas, Colorado, Illinois coming soon. The average discount can be around 20 to 25% off. Now there's variables there. If you're selling in SMUD in California, Sacramento, that's not an energy community, and you're not using a domestic content inverter, it could be 17 or 18% off. But in California, if you are in an energy community and you're using Q cells and Powerwall 3, the Powerwall 3 inverter built into it is technically overseas. It's not domestic, but the battery is domestic. So it's around a 21 to 22% discount. Now, that's why this isn't a pilot group, because there's a lot of complex calculations and different products, different lenders, different discounts, different areas that go involved with this. So reach out to your leaders or Tom and I, or attend that office hour to go a little bit deeper on this and ask questions in the chat as well. You can always assign a closer, like, I know Owen Carey's on here with HDM. I believe Cynthia, a few others. I think John Wilson just got in the program. If you're in the pilot program and you're a mentor closer, go ahead and type it in the chat so people know who you are. If you want to work with them, great. If you're already a solar pro and you'd rather do it yourself, that's fine as well. There is a 2% fee when you do a prepaid upfront like HDM with Powur. So please keep in mind, just like SunGage loans or other loans, Powur does have a 2% processing fee to get that money and pay us quick and do everything that's involved to secure these loans here. And then you do need to add sales tax as well. And like I said, currently Credit Human is the lender today, and they just have a $475 origination fee for that loan product. A few last things here before I turn it over to Tanner. Hopefully I'm doing a good job, Tanner. So after 6 years...
So you don't even need me. I should have just stayed on mute the whole time.
There you go. Yeah, well, let's see. So after 6 years, HDM assigns the solar system back to you, Mr. Homeowner. You sign an ownership agreement with Powur. Powur is the warranty holder. They are your GC license warranty. HDM has an agreement for the solar, and if you're doing a battery, they have another agreement for the battery, and they do have a verification online call talk that you have to do as well. But I like to stress that because you are signing an ownership agreement with Powur. You are owning it in the eyes with Powur. HDM just holds the paper for 6 years. They're capturing the depreciation and some of the credits that are on the commercial side, the business available to them. They're going to capture it, and they get to pass on that discount back to us. And I will just kind of say this too. The HDM agreements are pretty ironclad. They're in favor of HDM so that the IRS will honor the agreement and give them all those credits. So one of the things that you really want to dial into, like Owen, Carey, and Julian have done, and a few of us have done, Eric Goldstein, a few of us, the agreements, some owners may ask details in the contracts. what is the buy option at year 6? Will you assign it back to me? It's a little loosely worded, and it does protect HDM, so the IRS will give them all those credits. So you will need to be prepared if your homeowner asks and gets into the weeds on what really happens and how are you going to prove it to me. So that is something to be aware of as well. And then lastly, I'll share a little sneak peek at the calculator that a few of us are in the pilot program. This is what we have to learn and we have to do. So right now, and by the way, this is all coming to Powur Vision. We're going to streamline it in the coming weeks, coming months. Like, it's going to get better. I know this may look scary or confusing, but that is why there's a pilot program as we navigate the options and the lenders that are offering this product. So let's say there's a cash project price in California of, I'll put $80,000. And that's pretty much what Ashley and I sold. And then we did 3 batteries, so I'll put, $27,000. So it's an 80 grand system total. 27 of that is the battery. I did a Powerwall 3, so the inverter is not domestic, but the battery on a Powerwall 3 is made in Sparks, Nevada, so that is domestic. And it's in SoCal Edison, which is an energy community, and it's in California. So if we scroll down here, the discount is 21.7%. Mr. Homeowner, I can get this to you for $63,900. And by the way, Powur is going to give you a $500 rebate check at permission to operate if you sign before February 15th. So again, every system, location, energy community, battery product you're choosing to put, it varies. Like if I'm not in an energy community and I'm in Sacramento SMUD, it drops down to 17%. That's the lowest discount that I've seen. But if you are an energy community, that discount jumps up quite a bit. So those are a few important things I wanted to share on prepaid upfront PPA product. Obviously, it's a great differentiator. I really believe that by the end of the year, we're going to have 1 or 2 strong options like HDM to offer our clients with a big discount with a loan, or do you want the monthly PPA? We will have the 2 best options in the states that we're in to close more deals, help more homeowners, and recruit more people to Powur. I've already sold 3 HDM myself. I love it. 2 of them got their own financing. One had cash, one took a loan from his 401k. My 3rd client with Ashley is using the Credit Human loan. So it's an amazing value prop and it's amazing product. And I'm going to go ahead and shut up for a bit now and see if Tanner, you want to kind of sprinkle on top of this. Maybe there's questions in the chat. Keep asking so Tanner can address them. But anything you want to add on to that? Anything I missed?
No, absolutely. I'll add some sprinkles here and there for you, but I think you got the most of it. We are. I did want to touch a little bit more on our background, just so you guys have that going
Perfect.
into sit downs with homeowners and things like that of who HDM is. We are really proud of the fact that we are one of the, we're the prepaid PPA that's been around the longest in its current structure, right? We've been around for just about 8 years. And so I don't know how familiar you guys are with solar history, but the original first prepaid PPA that was ever created was created by Nat Kramer, who sits on our board, right? He created it for Sunrun originally, and then came over and helped us structure it in a way that homeowners could use it. And so our all the way up until last year, our product was mostly for, those older customers that didn't qualify for the tax credit, or those who just didn't want to have to worry about the hassle. And so it was a great product, but it didn't apply to everyone. And then come the big beautiful bill, right? When 25D got removed, we became the prettiest girl at the ball all of a sudden, right? We all of a sudden became a product that applies to every single homeowner if they want to own. And so over those 8 years, right, as of right now, we own and operate about 20, just shy of 20,000 systems. And so we stick on for 6 years. We help maintain the system, monitor it. We provide extra warranties. And you guys, right, the homeowner, they'll still get to keep their warranties with Powur, which is awesome. Ours is just the secondary. And then at the end of the 6 years, right, if they end up underproducing, we have a production guarantee. We'll write them a check, or if there's no discrepancy, right, then they can just take full ownership of the system at no additional cost. So looking over some of the questions here, right, it is a prepaid PPA. And so you'll see places like LADWP, for example, they don't allow PPAs. And so in those areas, you can only do battery projects because we have an ESSA for our batteries, which is structured in the same way, right? HDM sticks on for 6 years. At the end of 6 years, we transfer that system back. And if that homeowner moves at all during that time, it's really simple. We just have a half-page document they have to fill out, so we know who to reach out to at year 6 to transfer that system back. So as far as from what the customer sees, it's pretty straightforward, right? You guys are just going to tell us the total system price, and then kind of like Jonathan walked you through, you'll calculate your discount and apply it to that total contract value. And so the homeowner, they walk away with a great discount, extra set of protections, and then they also, right, still get to walk away with ownership after 6 years. So it's a rare win-win-win situation where you guys make great commission as if it were a more expensive deal. Homeowner gets a discount and HDM gets the tax credits. So that is just looking through here. Is there any other questions you guys have? And I'll go through this list.
That's a good call out, Tanner. So that's one of the reasons why prepaid PPA is not allowed in Florida, is because Florida doesn't allow PPAs. And that's a reason why there is no HDM cap with solar or batteries in LADWP for Powur. So that's an important call out for you guys to be aware of. If there's a utility that has to be lease only, this product currently does not work until Tom fights with the Congress to get that changed. But
yeah, and we from our side, so it's LADWP and Glendale Power are the two that we don't do solar contracts. Everything else in California, I believe, is green light there.
Let's touch on those first 6 years, Tanner. HDM's carrying the paper and has some ownership stake, probably a UCC1 fixture filing. So usually if someone's buying it like this, they're not going to be selling the home in 6 years. But if that does happen, what does that look like?
Yeah, so it's really simple. We probably do 10 a day right now. Of a homeowner reaches out to our sales support and our customer support team, and they just send a half-page document that says, I, Mr. Homeowner, am taking ownership of the system and am accepting HDM's prepaid HDM's ownership, and I will take it back at year 6, is all it says. And it's signed by the homeowner, and it's signed by the old homeowner and the new homeowner. It's a pretty quick process. Typically can be done within a day. There's no credit check or anything like that, just because, right, we own the system and we just want to get it back to the homeowner as quick as possible. So that's all we care about.
Got it. Yeah. So transfer department, pretty similar to other lenders, y'all. If they sell in the first 6, which is only the area of concern, then HDM is doing that a dozen times a day right now.
And after year 6, right, that homeowner, they're signing a 20-year agreement with HDM with an opt-out at year 6 is how it's structured. So at that year 6 point, we reach out to them, they take full ownership. If they don't want to take full ownership and want us to continue to help maintain the system, we do continue to do that. There's a small annual fee after the year 6 mark, but we'll stick on. We'll still keep our production guarantee and everything like that. There's no real reason that a homeowner would want to do that unless their installer went out of business. right? So from the systems we've transferred back, there's about 1% of homeowners that end up sticking on, right? They figure, hey, it's worth paying. There's like an annual fee of, it is $40 per kilowatt a year, right? So on a 10 kilowatt, it's $400 a year. For some homeowners, it's worth it, but for most, right, it's most homeowners end up just taking ownership.
And if on that topic, if a homeowner's reading the agreements, like in year 6, it's a little fuzzy. Like it doesn't explicitly say you're giving 100% ownership back to me for free. What is this all about? What's your best answer for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm going to share my, am I okay to share my screen here?
I think Tom can turn that on for you.
Let me add that for you there.
All right, I think you can try there.
Awesome. You guys trust me enough?
Yep. You're good.
Let's see here. This guy, here we go. So we have something called our MOU, right? Memorandum of Understanding. That is a great sales tool for that exact instance. So if that homeowner reads every single page of the contract, they're going to come out with a couple different questions. They're going to want to say, hey, at year 6, what happens, or how do I know I'm guaranteed? Because in the contract, it says I can purchase it back at fair market value, right? And so that is the main question they're going to have. And this document signed by our founder is clarifying exactly what that means, right? So it's after 6 years, we'll transfer it back at no additional cost. And then the big kicker is the purchase mentioned in the contract is a trade for energy that has not been delivered or the energy services that have not yet been provided. So to expand on that a little bit, that homeowner in that 20-year agreement, at year 6, HDM still owes them 14 more years of services or power or essentially that we've guaranteed and they've prepaid. Whether they're financing it or not, it doesn't matter. But that 14 years of service is really valuable. That homeowner owns it, it's an asset. And so we can trade the value of that for the value of the equipment on their roof. And that's how we're able to trade and transfer it back at no additional cost. So yeah, so year 6 hits, what's really happening is we're trading it, the system that HDM owns, for the services that homeowner owns, right? Their prepaid asset. And so every single time, this entire product was designed so that could be transferred back at no additional cost. And this just clarifies it and is signed by our founder. And then the second page is just a copy of what they'll get at year 6. So you guys can share this with every single homeowner you're selling just to give them peace of mind. We even have lots of teams that will, on this MOU, they'll even, as sales rep, they'll even initial down there and have the homeowner initial, just that they understand it. But it does give homeowners, a large peace of mind there.
Nice.
So that's really helpful. And then another thing you had brought up as well is, as far as sales rep support, we have a great customer support team of about 10 people that are constantly maintaining our phone number and our sales email, which I'll share with you guys. But we also have a knowledge base that goes pretty well in depth. And if there's specific so it walks you through the product, the process of selling it, and then this won't apply to you guys as much, but the submission process on how to get funded. If you guys come down to the product, and I'm sorry guys, I'm getting over a little bit of a sickness, so I probably sound pretty gross. This know the agreement, this will walk you through every section of the agreement and what homeowners have questions on, and it'll give you the common answer, the common explanation on exactly what that phrase means.
Nice.
So that's a great sales tool there.
Yeah, a lot of resources. Looking at the chat here, Mike Craner asked about the warranty, and I'll take that because it's with Powur. So Powur does have the standard warranty. If you do just a standard cash purchase, then if you read through the warranty, it's like 5-year roof, 10-year workmanship, and then you get the manufacturer's warranties on the product. If you add Powur Care to this, which you can, then you're enhancing and extending and giving more coverage if you decide to add Power Care as an adder. So that's going to be on the power warranty side of things. And like Tanner alluded to, HDM throws in one or two nice little protections as well. Like they have with monitoring, and I believe even like a small production guarantee while you guys.
We have an 85% production guarantee, and that that calculation, if they're underproducing, is done at year 6, or we just write them a check for anything underproduced.
Right. No, you'd have to sell Power Care at time of sale, Mike. On Power's eyes, think of this just like a cash deal. So, HDM just holds the paper for 6 years and helps us get that discount. I don't even really speak to those extra enhancements unless I need to, but for all intensive purposes, it's a purchase with Power. HDM just gives us the discount and holds that paper for 6 years.
Do you guys do you guys do much volume in Colorado right now?
So yeah, let's hit that because Salil asked. I know Colorado is expanding like February 2nd, and then if you could speak to Illinois, which utilities might be in Illinois, or if you guys have that on the roadmap yet.
Yeah, so Illinois is on the roadmap. That one is likely going to be end of Q2, even beginning of Q3 right now. But we did wrap everything up for Colorado this week on our side, and so that's going to be launched and available February 2nd. So next week, which is pretty exciting for us. So we will be at that point. I know you guys don't cover all these areas, but we'll be in Colorado at that point, California, Texas, Oklahoma, Nevada, and Puerto Rico if you guys want to go sell a couple deals down there.
Good to know.
I've seen this question come up a couple times as well. With any local incentives or rebates, right? That homeowner is more than welcome to collect it. We will sign documents. For example, there's in California, SGIP, right? We'll sign a document for them stating that they can claim it. But it is whether you guys work with the homeowners or the homeowners do it on their own, it's up to them. We will 100% allow them to take any of those local rebates.
Yeah. So I'll just say that again. If there's like a battery rebate or an SGIP or a SREC, like in Illinois or somewhere else, HDM doesn't care about that. The homeowner can directly take those. So that's a pretty good news there. I know Illinois, you just said Q2, Q3, so someone's asking about Maryland. I doubt that that's on the roadmap at this time.
It's not right now, but if that's something you guys are doing significant volume in, then that's a one we can look at as well. We've had that request a few times from partners.
Okay. Let's go to Dana, and then Julian also has a question in the chat.
Hey guys, I just wanted to clarify. So I heard you say that Glendale and LADWP doesn't work for HDM, but does it also work for municipality utilities like MID, TID, the smaller?
It does, yeah.
Okay, great.
And just to clarify, I know you just mentioned this, but the Glendale Power and LADWP, we just can't have a solar contract in those areas. So you guys can still install solar, but HDM's discount is only going to be applicable to the battery and the costs associated with that battery.
Oh, interesting. I'd want to get with our teams to navigate that, because at this time Power doesn't support that. But yeah, if we can get to that point, then
yeah, you and I can connect on that after. There's a couple things that partners are doing that work great, and we're completely on board with. So
cool. Julian asked if someone did get solar and batteries, and before the end of the 6 years, let's just say they wanted to add more solar or batteries. It's an interesting question. Like, with a PPA, Goodleap owns it. They may not want people adding batteries or solar to their system, but how would you answer that if someone did want to add on to?
The beautiful thing about HDM, and you guys will see, is pretty simple, right? You're treating it like it's a purchase. So we don't care if they add more batteries. Use HDM, please. But in all honesty, you don't even have to use HDM, right? you can apply and you can add additional add-ons or batteries as much as needed. It doesn't affect our portion.
All right. Yeah, and if you want to get with Jeff Martin, he's going to help kind of lead the Colorado HDM launch. I see Ron in the chat. Battery news in Colorado.
Tanner, any for Florida specifically, is there any HDM lease that you're considering?
Yeah, so Florida's one that we'll never be able to go into
No.
because of that reason, and I don't think it's not on our docket to come out with a lease, just
Okay.
because. I mean, I guess we didn't touch on this at all, but last year, right, the first 6 years of HDM, we were funded by high net worth individuals, right, who had the tax equity, the tax appetite for these projects. About a year ago, we closed the largest fund in HDM's history of just shy of $3 billion with a fund. And so we agreed to terms with that fund. And one of those was that it would remain as a prepaid PPA. So there
Okay.
is a world where we start raising additional capital and create a lease. But as of right now, it's just going to stay a prepaid PPA, unfortunately. I'll tell you, if you guys are in Florida, I'd love to come visit, do some trainings out there regardless. So sounds a lot better than Salt Lake right now. So
All right, we're coming to a close here. Any last question for Tanner or on the prepaid upfront conversation? You can always attend Thursday's office hour for more information, but anything else out there?
awesome. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna jump onto another call, but it was great chatting with you guys and let me know how I can support.
Thanks for the support, Tanner. Appreciate you being here. Feel better. Take care. Have a great
Thanks.
week.
Bye.
All right, let's go ahead and end the recording and we can hang out for a little bit longer.